If children have certain habits, true filial piety is often difficult to cultivate. This situation is familiar to many families. Some people think times are different now. Young people are busy with school or work. It's hard to be all-encompassing. But if you just blindly infer environmental change, they don't pay close attention to what their children say and do. Ultimately, it may make parents feel bitter. From a numerological perspective, everyone's 8 characters, the 5 elements, and fortune reflect not just personal character. There is also an energetic interaction with the family. If the child is too self-absorbed, plus parents' failure to provide timely guidance during the educational process, it's easy for them to gradually lose the authenticity of family emotions. The Buddhist view emphasizes causality. It is no accident that parents and children come together in this life. It also contains a lot of past grievances. But that doesn't mean letting it go, but to seek compassion and wisdom to resolve the potential conflicts and apathy in the family. Especially when parents are in their later years, leave one for yourself, a way to settle down. Modern society is fiercely competitive. Many children from childhood, parents have high expectations, hope they are studying to achieve good results in various competitions. If a child grows up growing up under the pressure of high expectations, it can lead to the formation of 2 extremes of personality. One is the obsessive pursuit of achievement. It looks great to outsiders, but the emotional need for parents is relatively weak. The other is boredom of being pushed or reprimanded. Just choose passive confrontation. Don't want to take on any family responsibilities. The former may achieve social status in the future, become high, ignoring the true needs of parents. The latter was young, constant conflict with parents, maybe even into adulthood. The family has no sense of belonging. I feel the urging of my parents is interfering with one's own freedom. So numerology says that these children are in 8 characters. The relationship with parents is not deep, or there is some kind of opposition. If parents don't know how to use positive, the correct way to coordinate, it will cause a lifetime of disgust. When they are having a good time outside, rarely think of giving back when your parents are having a bad time outside, but not necessarily grateful for the efforts of their parents. From a Buddhist perspective, the children are at odds with their parents. There are often multiple hidden behind. In the night, there are people between past lives and their parents, the relationship between the creditor and the debt. We will meet again in the form of blood. Not that it's destined to set them against each other, but it needs to be eliminated and traced through various opportunities. But if the child always shows various signs, if you are defiant when talking to your parents, 3 sentences, accusing parents of incompetence, or don't want to take on any housework, they don't listen to their parents' warnings. This is all explaining they lack the most basic respect for their elders. Some children, even when parents need care. Therefore, the physical condition or psychological feelings of the parents, treat it as a trivial matter. It gradually chills the parents. Over time, this parent-child relationship, you become very alienated. On the surface, it may still be possible to maintain communication, but there is no true warmth in each other's hearts. The society also often sees some news, said that an old man was snubbed by his children in his later years, even abused or being kicked out of the house. People talk. We'll ask when parents were educating their children. Is it too doting? Or is it just that kids are hardened by nature? In fact, Numerology Society gives a view. The character and fortune of anyone interact with environmental factors. The child is growing up. See if the parents are in harmony. Is the family atmosphere experienced relaxed or severe? All of this could affect their understanding of filial piety. If the child feels that the family did not give him a sense of security, or parents arguing with each other, he may lose his yearning and identity with home. Psychology gradually formed when I was able. I want to get away from this idea of home. Wait until he really has social status or financial resources. Dissatisfaction with the family turn into indifference or resentment. Parents have worked hard to support for decades. In the end, I can't get a sincere greeting. It breaks the heart of many parents. Some people say their children have been very cute and sensible since childhood. How can you grow up and become selfish instead? Sometimes it's the parents during their childhood not setting appropriate boundaries for children. The habitual demands that lead to the formation of children. He feels that his parents would do anything for him. Of course. Especially when he became independent in his 20s, but found the outside world. It didn't go as smoothly as I thought. Then he will share his frustrations and dissatisfaction, passed on to parents. I feel that since my parents were meticulous to me at the beginning, now I'm in trouble. You should meet my various needs. If parents can no longer continue to give unconditionally, he thought he was being left out. In turn, start blaming parents. Even because my parents didn't care as much as they used to. I feel like I don't have to care about their feelings anymore. This kind of situation can sometimes be seen in life. And I such as some A character display. This person has been prosperous since he was a small fortune star. But he is in material life. It's easier to get satisfaction. But if the good luck goes to bad times, there was scarcity. He will look back. I resent my family for not continuing to provide resources. Buddhism often talks, everything is made for the heart. Children are not born to want to go against their parents. However, various social and family influences let them unknowingly ignore the hard work of their parents. Plus, cause and effect vary from person to person. Some parents are present. There is a deep injustice between the world and the child. This life is destined to experience some running in and testing. After all, if the child is growing up, they develop the following habits. Parents must be vigilant. The first child is used to public ridicule. Parents' knowledge and abilities, not just joking. And also belittle their parents' efforts in front of their friends, dismissing parents' words as outdated or ridiculous ideas. The second child is an adult, but never wanted to share it for the family, even a little bit of housework or financial stress, and prioritize all your needs. They don't care about their parents. The third child is chatting with others. Often just complain about how their family treats them badly. I rarely mention the hard work of my parents. If a young person meets the above characteristics, it's hard to talk about filial piety. Such a child, I often report to my parents the mentality that you owe me. I don't know how to compare my heart to my heart. Some parents, after discovering the signs of the child's unfilial piety, attempt to correct by reprimand or coercion. It backfired. It's in numerology. If the 5 elements of parents and children, or the branches of heaven and earth, produce fragrance or phase, there's going to be a lot more caution in education. It cannot be simply suppressed with a strong attitude. Otherwise, it will only provoke greater backlash from the child. Buddhism advises parents: approach these issues with compassion and wisdom. Start by setting an example in your daily words and deeds. Don't argue constantly in front of children or blame each other. Let him think that there is no love and warmth at home. Secondly, it is necessary to combine the child's personality. Guide slowly. He realized the value of family responsibilities and emotions. If you really can't change his heart, parents should also learn to leave a way out for themselves. This back road, it doesn't mean cutting ties with children. It requires an independent economic foundation and life circles. Allow yourself to grow old. Do not become overly dependent on children, nor because of the other party's indifference or unfilial piety, and fall into despair. Many parents care for their children when they are young. Sacrifice your savings, pension reserve. Wait until later in life to find that the child is not grateful. Some people are distressed by this. I feel my original love in exchange for ruthless treatment. Very disheartened. In fact, numerology tells us that fate between people, it doesn't have to be sustained by money. If children are not received from their parents, feel an emotional sense of security or mental support, pure material sacrifice, in a way, it only cultivates his greed, but not enough to arouse his gratitude. And that's why Buddhism advocates parents in the process of parenting. Pay attention to the cultivation of children's inner character. Teach him karma. Let him understand how to get along well with the people around him. These are assets that are more important than money. As for the later, if you find that the child has formed deep roots, solid selfishness, or a cold-blooded attitude, parents need to calm down. Not in old age, and all hope is blocked on the filial piety of the child. Learning in the elderly. Find yourself a hobby or a religion. Make some like-minded friends. Make your own life. It doesn't just revolve around children. In some families, and my parents were very upset about this. If I had known you would do this to me, I shouldn't have been so frugal for you to study. I mean, this is outrageous, but it shows that the parents are not mentally prepared. I didn't give myself enough security. Edit anyway. People in old age. There will always be a day when someone needs to take care of them. If the child doesn't want to, or finish, they don't have the financial or emotional resources to take care of them, so parents can be left isolated. Some people in numerology have bad luck in their later years. If you encounter a child again, don't ask. It is prone to the residue of poverty and disease. Buddhism reminds people from another perspective. In fact, we must learn to let go of our obsessions, any sacrifice or dedication to children. Don't think that you will get the same return. Because of Ruosheng's obsession, it becomes a love deal. Once a child doesn't repay you the way you expect, it's going to be really painful. It's better to go with the flow. If he can really awaken in the future and repay his kindness, and everybody's happy about that, if he still goes his own way. Parents don't send the rope of hope too far. Dead people in life. Already smelling signs that the child may be unfilial, but there is a fluke. I think that in the future, when he gets married and starts a business, he will be sensible. It certainly is. Some children become parents themselves. Only then did I understand the difficulties of my parents in the past and then give birth to the heart of feedback. But not everyone can. Some people know they are parents. I'm still trapped in a paranoid ego. They don't show any compassion for their parents. Especially in contemporary society, vegetarian culture prevails. The distance between people, it seems to be getting closer on the physical level. But I'm growing more and more distant at the psychological level. The hedonism that children develop. Little concern for parents, even if they make a lot of money in the future. I may not be willing to dedicate my energy to taking care of you. Parents need to understand. Don't mix finances and emotions. It's all on the child. And it's not just about self-preservation. It's also a sobering awareness of reality. Some people are used to complaining that their children are not up to par, but you are patient every day. Actually, if you can plan your retirement life earlier, make sure you have a source of income or social circle. So on the issue of whether children are filial, it doesn't seem passive. One might ask, if you want children to change their indifference to their parents, is there any numerology solution or Buddhist transcendence? There's feng shui, the saying of infertility. But even more important is the human heart. Feng shui can only assist. It is impossible to reverse a person's deep personality. Buddhist society emphasizes cultivating the mind and doing good deeds. Let parents learn to pray sincerely for their children. Even if he can't appreciate this care for the time being, maybe one day in the future. Now, this realization doesn't have to happen. So, parents wait for their children to be grateful and look back. It is better to make your own life plan first. On the one hand, try your best to maintain the parent-child relationship. The opportunity is based on warmth. Guide children to develop in a good direction. On the other hand, be prepared for a rainy day. Leave a little way out for yourself, including the management of financial resources and physical and mental health. If children really come to their senses in the future, become someone who knows how to feed their parents back. That's certainly gratifying. If he never changes, at least parents, you can also live your old age in peace. Don't fall into the abyss of regret or resentment. You see it from another angle. Parents who only treat their children, it is considered as one's own personal property. Constantly emphasizing during the educational process that I am for your own good, but rarely consider the child's inner feelings. It is easy to provoke children's antagonism. Children grow up in this environment, even if instilled with the idea of filial piety. The seeds of dissatisfaction are also planted in the heart. In the future, if he encounters any difficulties in his life, will point the finger at the parents. Even blame his parents for not giving him more opportunities. Or in some ways, force him to do what his parents want. Any demand for filial piety at that time, it was like beating an old wound to him. Interpersonal actions in numerology. Sometimes it's because the inner opposition is too long. Once it erupts, it is difficult to recover. And Buddhism reminds us that compassion is a prerequisite. But compassion is not coddling or controlling. True love requires wisdom. Give children room to grow independently. Also, at the right time, Let him appreciate the significance of responsibility and dedication. If you just let him get used to being served, he won't learn to care for others. When we talk about children having the following habits, most of them will not be filial. Many parents may. I suddenly remembered the many shortcomings of my child. All of a sudden. But don't panic and despair too much. As numerology says, there is a turnaround at any point in time. As long as it's not completely incompatible, you can try to communicate and guide again. If the situation is already very bad, maybe parents need to turn more to self-training. Keep inner peace. Don't be consumed by anger and depression. There is a saying in Buddhism that you can only cross people by taking yourself away. When you yourself are happy and stable, when you no longer hold on to the child's unfilial piety, the child may instead be moved one day. Start thinking about your responsibilities. Even if he is not probated, at least you won't lose yourself because of it. The kind that holds the child tightly. The process of continuous disappointment. It's actually a double torture. Forcing myself to be unhappy in my later years. I'm getting further and further away from my children. Facing unfilial piety in children. In fact, there is no permanent solution. There are two main things that can be done. One is to raise children very early for their parents, and a sense of responsibility towards the family. Don't let them get used to taking and not giving. The second is when there is really no ability to change. Parents should know how to take care of their own lives. No matter what you believe in numerology, still leaning towards Buddhism, you see this kind of intelligence. We cannot fully control our children's behavior, but you can control your emotions and actions. Learn to adjust your expectations. Put more attention. Let yourself maintain physical and mental health first, and economic independence. So even in the future, the child has really gone down the road of no filial piety, you won't despair. Don't complain every day, and can go on living at your own pace. As for the parents' concern and love for their children, it doesn't have to be bitter or show resentment. Numerology says life is alive, half by providence. Half of it depends on human beings. Buddhism says that all dharmas are empty, cause and fate. If we can understand these principles, there will be less unnecessary obsession with pain. If you feel anything after reading this, or you are worried about your child's unfilial piety, hope you like it. You are also welcome to subscribe and leave a message. Share your journey. Everyone's family situation is different. If someone can find comfort through communication or find some solution, that's the best harvest. Wish more parents can be carefully guided when the child is young. Let them know how to appreciate the kindness of their parents. May those parents who feel their children are hopeless, don't give up. Leave yourself a little way out. Be kind to yourself. Continue to love life and self-care. If one day the child comes to his senses, please give him a chance. If he is still as indifferent as ever, also remember, you've already left yourself a safe passage. After all, everyone is responsible for their own life. The happiness of parents in their later years. We should not rely solely on the filial piety of our children. May these thoughts. It can help you in a complex parent-child relationship. Find a little turnaround.